Good morning, everybody. Side note, I'm going to have to leave out of here after I do this commentary. I got to go get some blood drawn, but I'll be back. I'll be back pretty early. Shouldn't take that long. Okay, so markets went down to support. They cleared. I'm just looking at the NASDAQ futures here. And so it doesn't show the big gap we can see in the Qs and the spiders, but you can see as they cut through that first major area of support there, which violated the uptrend, and black and white analysis, higher highs and higher lows, not anymore. Came down to the next support overnight, and that's where buyers started to come in, and now they've pushed it up to resistance. So we got the beginnings of at least an intraday trading range. We'll see what happens here at the open. We got this congestion here. Obviously, the obvious question is, can demand buyers push it up through? As you can see, there was an initial rejection where sellers sold in there. Why shouldn't they? If they bought down here and, whoever would have held through, 4 hours of this grind higher, it's an obvious place to sell. And it's an obvious place to initiate a short position and to see what happens from here. And we'll see if this begins to roll over. This is a 15, this is a 5. So far, they're still moving up. And, as we do every day, we'll just see what happens. Downtrend, sideways trend, uptrend on the weekly. So now we have multiple time frames out of sync, which leads to uncertainty and erratic price action until things begin to digest, this drop, which luckily, like, this is still in an uptrend. It's got room to fall still without damaging the trend. So this initial move down here, this vertical drop is a powerful move. Now, as we all know, these big drops create voids, and now the ability to retrace back up again is kind of wide open. We've got smaller time frames to look at where those intraday congestions areas are, where those potential stopping points are. But so, if we get through this area here, well, then you got the whole number of 9,000. You do have some overlapping bars here, opens and closes. So if you looked at the 5 minute, you'd see the congestion there, or maybe even the 15. So this is going to require some time. If we can spend, I don't know, I'm just going to say a couple of weeks in this area, that would be very encouraging to see some bottoming action here, as maybe that being the low of the correction. So this is down, I think, I didn't even measure this one, but we can just to see what it is. Right to here, and let's just go down here. So that's a 10% drop. And that's about as big as it's been. I think we can go back last year. I think there was a point where it was a little bit more than that, but you can see, just over 10%, give or take, right in that area there. So pretty good over a short amount of time. It's not going back up without some kind of chopping back and forth, as we'll be looking at over the next week or two. Dow led the way down, smashed right through the 200 MA, pushed through that next level of support and got closer to this one. So a lot of damage done there, and just slicing through this level of support, this level of support, this one, and bouncing back up. For me, and I call this now a downtrend, even though it doesn't have lower highs and lower lows. So lots of damage there. Broke the uptrend on the weekly time frame. Obviously, more damage there with the slowing momentum, new high peak, wide range bar down. We still have, 3 days basically for the market to do whatever it's going to be able to do. So since it's on this support here, I think we're going to have some chop here. And you can see same area of price resistance there to the left. Where did my ES go? I must have deleted that by mistake somehow. All right, we'll get to that. Squish that up. Come on, give me my 200. Oh, I guess these are new because just began to make the 200. Yeah, because it's the mini. Okay, so push down through the 200. That's why the line is so short there, and just came down to the next support and cut through that one. Right, and I keep saying, look to the left, look to the left. Right, no fib lines, no trend lines, and what are the trend line guys going to be doing here? Connecting the dots, trying to figure out, is it these dots? Is it that dots? Project the line into the future, right? Like that line is now going to be resistance. Ridiculous concepts in an industry that tells you this is how to do it, and then wonders why the failure rate is as high as it is because of the stupid analysis that they lead you to believe is the way. Probably, do you think it's too early? Sell puts far out of the money as we did last year. Is it too early? Well, Dan could probably answer better as to the pricing of it. I think that, you're saying deep out of the money, so further down. I think it's probably a decent idea. Even probably the pricing is probably, the premiums are probably good. So even if it goes down further from here, they may not increase in value that much. But I'm of the thinking, if the S&P came down to the 200, I would want to initiate, intermediate term positions. This is already, I think this is already down around close to 10%, give or take. So I don't think it's a bad idea. As far as the pricing goes, I guess it all depends on how fast it gets down there, if it does. If you're going to do them you're going to sell puts on the spiders, I think you should do it with the intention of being okay to own it. So this isn't far from the 200, and it bounced off of this support. So the 200 being a subjective reference point of support, all the institutions watch it, the 50 and the 200 simple moving averages. And you can see it's kind of in between the two pivots. So, and this is up against resistance there. Same, a lot of the same stuff, that we've been seeing. Wide range bar on the weekly. The major support is down here. Damage done everywhere. Right? This isn't going to be over next week. Now we got all the politicians coming out. Oh, it's contained here. No worries. Everything's going to be okay. Let's hope so. But we should all know better than to listen to politicians, especially when it comes to your investments. That this is not done. Crude oil retesting the prior low, obviously more fears of economy slowing. We looked at the yield curves yesterday. That's confirming that belief. We'll see how far it goes. Yeah, so Debbie's saying that SARS in 2002-3 dropped the market 16%. This is going to be worse. Maybe so. I mean, oil could be dropping down to the prior low. Bonds, you want to keep an eye on. They're a little stretched here. If they get through this area, we looked at this. They've got the next levels up above. TBT dropping like a rock off the roof, which we'll be updating yield curves and that as it develops further as time goes on. We'll just see. That's what we do. I'll just remind everybody, we were blowing the warning horns a month ago. And I know it's hard to believe in the moment that these internal gauges, to believe them when the market's going up, but you see what happens. I mean, look, doing this for decades, and not every one is going to result in such a sharp drop, but they have to be respected. And I think everyone knew the master trader at this point will be looking at them with greater respect in the future. Gold correcting a bit, had a heck of a run. I believe it will go higher. There'll be buyers on the pullback. And silver came in pretty darn hard with that. It was underperforming, so that is understandable. So, hit that, look to the left, hit that resistance point and got smashed. It was mentioning that you're waiting for the markets to align with internals. Do you mind expand? Oh, so internals. Let's see if I got the right chart here. All right, so here's the internals. I did a video last night. It went out to the advisory letter. So we've got breadth, and I've been talking about breadth coming down to a level like this, or maybe even a minus 300 area. But this is an extreme, and typically we do get bounces when it gets down here like that. And so sentiment got under one, and where's my little drawing things here? Got under one. The static level of 1.2 would be great if it could get down there with, and what we'd be looking for then, even if breadth got lowered, we'd look for a bullish divergence, meaning, maybe the S&Ps get down here at the 200 and breadth starts showing some divergence, meaning a higher low. And what that would mean is we go out looking for stocks that are not dropping as fast as they were. And, so breadth could come further down. These bands adjust for bullish markets to raise the bullish level, but we'll see. We'll see what happens today. How far does it get through intraday resistance and so on? The yields that we looked at, right? Oh, I don't know. This one, we've got the shorter already inverted, here, just look to the left, spiders. There's the significant support point down right there. And the long-term yield curve is not even close, but under the warning line. So there's lots of things going on to respect what was happening and to protect your assets, whether that was through just buying insurance, some puts, which have paid off very nicely. And insurance is insurance. The house doesn't burn down, the money's gone. Right? I paid my car insurance yesterday. No accidents in a while, so money out the window. But if the crash comes, you're protected. That's the way it is.
Hey, Greg, can you show the internal? Yeah, that again. I missed it.
Yeah, right there. So they're at a point where you can get some kind of stabilization. Prices are at support. But this doesn't suggest, all in at this point. You had a lot of, an extreme I covered in the video, the wrong way option traders going in last night, betting on the crash scenario. And here the markets are up, and, they, obviously whatever their puts are probably getting crushed here at the open. So, we're going to get some bounces here. Let's go back to, this chart. Prices are at resistance. Let's not get too bullish about this open here. It's just a little bounce. It's the beginning of the day, and it's really not. Let's see if this looks like a bottoming tail bar at 4 o'clock, or whether it's another red bar, or a bar with tails on the top and the bottom. All right. So right now, even though this is higher in the morning here, this at resistance suggests to me, don't be going long here. Don't be going short. It's been pushed down real hard, and let's just see what sellers can do at this point. Well, that's it for me, guys. I got to run. Dan, don't forget to click thing at the top of the, you can turn it off at the top. Take over the chart.
All right, because when I tried in the past, it didn't let me.
There's a little thing at the top left. It says live on YouTube.
Right.
Do you see it? Little red live.
Yeah.
No, when you there's a little drop down where it says YouTube. You can stop it.
No, I don't have a drop down. Yeah. We
Did you
tried
click it? If you see it,
I can.
if you see live on YouTube, just click it.
I did. Nothing happens. So. Yeah, so, you know, up to you if you want to leave it on, but yeah, I couldn't turn it off last
It'll
time
be
we.
on for 2 hours if I leave it on.
All right.
Click on more at the bottom of your screen, please, and see if it says stop live stream.
You mean this drop? Yeah, more.
More at the bottom. You know where your share thing is?
Right, it's up top, but yeah, same thing. Right, I just sent you a screenshot. Yeah, I can leave the meeting, but I can't stop streaming.
Weird.
Yeah, same problem in the past. We tried it.
It's weird.
All
That
right.
they'll use. Okay. Well, YouTubers, have a great day. I'm going to disconnect this because otherwise it's going to have a 2-hour recording, and we don't want to do that.
Right.
All right.
All right. We